Let's do this thing. Let's move.
JoBodie.
I'm Gerald Ford, and you're not.
Love Jesus Christ.
I love whales.
I like skinny, scrawny guys.
Waking up every day and still being fucking ugly.
I'm not a child, Heidi. I'm a grown man.
The key is to make it. The key is never give up. The key is not to drive your jet ski in the dark.
You don't need nobody.
JoBodie.
Farted.
I love that, dude. That's our first start. That's our first start fart, dude.
Start fart.
You start the pod with a good fart. Yeah.
Alrighty, we're here.
We're
JoBodie, we're back. Here and queer.
Here and queer, dude. When I pulled up to your place and was walking upstairs,
Yeah.
like the high school next to y'all,
Mhm.
like they're always blaring some cool ass rap music or something.
Yeah, the
playing-
football stadium's right
yeah,
there.
dude. Yeah, and I hadn't heard a song in forever. Dude, I walk out and I hear you can get the biggest Chanel back in the store if you want it. I was just like, dude, they're playing some fucking Drip Too Hard over there, bro. I love that. It kind of got me hyped up to record.
They have football games on Sunday. When you were in high school, they used to have football games on Sundays?
Never.
That's crazy to me.
If they did, I don't remember it at all. And it was maybe a postseason game or something.
Yeah, they have these boys out here working.
Dude, they were out here last Sunday too.
Yeah, they're out here every Sunday. They were here.
And they were out there vibing.
Yeah, I don't think they were here yesterday. Well, I wasn't here yesterday. But
yeah.
Anyway, welcome to JoBodie, everybody. We don't normally do an introduction.
Hello.
Hello.
Everybody.
Hello.
I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, we don't normally do an introduction, but I just felt like doing it this week, so we're gonna do it. If you're watching this, you're probably not subscribed, so go ahead, subscribe, drop a like. We do have a lot of fun things coming up soon.
We do.
Other than a podcast, maybe.
Yeah, podcasts suck.
Podcast sucks. This podcast
sucks. We'll get better.
Sucks. Yeah, so we're gonna have some cool things coming up soon. So if you want to stay tuned, drop a subscribe, drop a like, hit. Oh wait, what's that? Smash that like button.
Yeah, dude.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button. They have they all have a voice. Don't you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
I don't know how to describe it, but it's like the content creator voice.
Yeah.
And you can tell too, because it's like when gay dudes turn their gay voice on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that, except for it'll be a dude that has a super low natural voice, and then he'll be on camera, and next thing you know, he's like, "Welcome back, guys!" Because you're like, dude, are you making your videos for children? That's what it seems.
Most of them probably are.
Yeah,
also, I don't know. I feel like when you're excited, typically, they try to seem like they're excited. When you're excited, typically your voice gets a little higher. I feel like.
Yeah, that's true.
That's how you can tell I'm not excited.
Or when you're talking to women, have you noticed that? That works too.
Oh, really?
It depends on the context. If you're trying to talk, if a lady's mad at you, whether it's your girlfriend or your mom or your sister or something, you try to have a higher pitched voice so that you don't, you're not as intimidating.
Oh.
Have you ever been in public before and your mom calls you?
Yeah.
And then you answer the phone, you're like, "Hey, mom." You never done that?
Probably.
I've definitely done that, dude.
Hey, mom.
Not super.
Hey, mom.
Out of the not I don't know.
Yeah.
Not that exaggerative, but I've done it in public before, and definitely somebody has been like, "Are you talking to your mom or some lady?" And I was like, "Yeah." Yeah, I could tell. I'm like, "Oh shit."
How
God,
dare you?
That? Why did I do that? You feel bad about it for no reason.
Yeah.
You're just trying to not sound like an idiot in front of your mom. That's really what it is.
Yeah. Nah, my mom never called me.
Oh, no, dude, yeah. No,
I used to call her.
Your sister calls you a lot, dude.
My sister does call me a lot.
Yeah, that's always funny when she calls out of the blue.
Yeah, my mom FaceTimes a lot. My mom be FaceTiming me in public. I'm like, hey, can we just talk?
Is that a Hispanic thing to FaceTime in public? I'm just asking. No, not me.
No, I don't know. I'm just saying, my mom likes to FaceTime a lot. That's
cool.
just how she likes to call me. She just FaceTimes me. I'll set up the tripod.
Right.
When she FaceTimes me and I'm doing something in the house, I'll just put my phone on the tripod and FaceTime her because I don't really feel like holding it. So,
dude, but yeah.
Literally this morning,
does she notice? Is she
yeah.
am I on a tripod right now?
No, she doesn't ask. But this morning she FaceTimed me. We were talking about the wedding last night, And I was in the living room like eating breakfast, and I just put her on the tripod and like literally just set it up, and I was sitting there eating,
Yeah.
and it was like set up perfectly, and I was just like, yeah.
That's so funny, dude.
I look really
don't know
good
why.
too in
It's
the
good.
light.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, damn, I look good right now.
Yeah. That post-wedding breakfast.
Post-wedding
Yeah.
breakfast.
It's like you're getting over
Yeah.
the last little bit of drink from the wedding, and you're eating some. What'd you make for breakfast?
Eggs and a bagel.
Hey, that's right. That's a good breakfast right there.
The wedding was fun last night. My sister got married. She got married off.
Yo, congrats,
I
Joe's
got
sister.
I got three more sisters
I
to
was gonna say,
marry.
you got some more to marry off, dude.
I have 3 more sisters to marry off. So if anyone's interested,
If you're not getting a deal out of this,
yeah,
you're doing
I
something
gotta
wrong.
get. I mean, where do you think the goat came from?
it's like yeah, traditional wedding, dude. You have a dowry on the back end.
Yeah,
I
I'm
like
trying to
that.
get. I'm trying to get 10 chickens next time.
Or at least like a like a gift card to like Buffalo Wild Wings or something, And it's like,
Yeah.
hey, you're about to marry my sister. Do you think you could drop a man $70 for some wings, dude?
It is interesting. I think that was my first wedding, where like that was my first like family wedding.
Right.
Well, my mom got married last year, but like that's
But like in
different.
your generation.
But that was my first family wedding in my generation, so it was interesting because it's like I know everyone she knows,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like I pretty much know everyone there other than like her husband's side of the family.
Kind of felt like your wedding, kind of.
No, I didn't feel like my wedding. It was
You're
just
look
like
at everybody here.
it was
that I'm
just
friends
really
with.
weird because it's like normally when I go to weddings, it's like okay, like this is the college group of friends.
Right.
I know all of them. I'm gonna
Yeah.
hang out with these people. But it's like at this wedding, it was like okay, well those are like Emily and I's friends from like middle school. Those are Emily and I's friends from high school. Those are so it's like I know
Like,
all of these groups of people from different places
you're
of
now
my
the
life.
mutual friend.
Yeah.
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 Like
so,
everybody who went to that wedding is like, oh, I'm gonna see people that like I kind of knew in college, like Joseph, and like,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
like you're now the other end.
Yeah.
It does feel different. I wonder how many times I've been in that situation and didn't realize that I was that. Because I've definitely been in that scenario before. I'm trying to think about what it is. Oh, probably my cousin's wedding.
Cousin's wedding.
Like at 20 whatever,
Yeah.
16 or whatever it was. Or 7. I'm sorry, Tanner. I forget exactly when you got married.
I do
It
think
was-
it's really funny too because like I'm the brother of the bride.
right.
Like half the people there, like from college and high school, didn't know that I was Emily's brother.
That's so funny. dude.
Right?
Yeah.
They just don't know.
Yeah.
It was
I
like
think I've seen that play out real life
Yeah.
where somebody didn't realize.
oh
you
yeah,
were her
people don't
brother.
know all. I
Yeah.
mean, to be fair, she's my step sibling.
Yes.
But it's like, yeah, I remember telling someone from college, she was like, oh, like, were you and Emily friends in college or whatever? I was like, yeah, it's like, she's my sister, so, yeah. And they were like, wait, what?
Oh wait, what? Yeah.
And then they called, like, I wasn't, like, a groomsman or anything, but they called the family over for pictures, and I, like, didn't go over there because I was, like, getting a coffee, and, like, someone came running and was like, Joseph, we need to take family pictures, and, like,
right.
the person I was talking to was like, wait, what? I was like, are you Emily's family? And also, like, I mean, also Emily's cousins,
Yeah.
I haven't seen since I was like 15 years old.
Dang.
Or like, no. I haven't seen in 15 years, I meant.
Oh,
so since I was like
shoot.
11 or 12 years old. So I think
That's
she has
awkward.
4 cousins. Only one of them remembered me. And bro, this kid, he's 27. He's a year older than me. But he looks like he
Like
looks like
bad?
he's 18 years old.
Oh, that's good.
Like,
I thought
no,
you were about to say
it's
40.
bad. That's
I
not
thought-
good. That's not good.
I don't know, but like if you're okay, I will say that looking 18 is not great for looking 27.
No, bro,
it's
for
not.
being 27,
Yeah.
no, bro. I was like, wait, how old are you again? I was like, how can you look like this?
Yeah. And what did he say?
He was just like, yeah, I'm 27. I was like, wait, really? And he was like, yeah. And that's all he said. I was like, oh, cool.
That boy's gonna have some testosterone into his later years. He's
Yeah.
gonna be getting on TRT the same time he retires.
He just looked exactly the same from what I remember. Because when I knew him, he was probably like 13 years old. He looked pretty much exactly
The
the
same.
same. I was like, how do you look the same for 15 years? I just don't get it. But also,
That's
I think
true.
I look the
Yeah.
same from high school. I've changed a little bit. I have a bigger beard. That's
Yeah.
about it.
But when I look at photos of you from like high school, you look pretty similar to yourself now.
Yeah. I'm
feel
just
like
older.
you're just older. Yeah.
Age.
I feel like most
changes.
people are good at recognizing me when they've known me from my past.
Yeah.
They just don't ever know. Like they're always just like, "Oh, I know you." You know, it's never
Yeah.
the name. It's always just like, "God, I remember you the way you look." And I'm always like, I'm like, yeah,
I remember
I'm fatter
you.
now. You're welcome. I was like, I've got the same beautiful face. I know that.
They're just like, I
But-
remember you, your body.
Something about you is the
Something
same
about you
and
is different.
Yeah. I'm
You're just, there's a lot more of you
Yeah,
than I
dude.
remember.
Oh god, dude, that's so true. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like like that was some whenever I was at it was 2018 summer of when I was at my cousin's wedding, like he's the first person in like my generation of family to get married.
Mm-hmm.
And like I remember seeing a lot of guys there who like he went to the same school as me. He's like 2 years older.
Yeah.
So I knew some of his friends from back in the day, but not really like close
You just knew them.
to his friends,
Yeah.
you know. But when I saw him like at the wedding and at the like the dinner rehearsal the night before, it was they were always like, "Oh, you're the yeah." Well, they knew kind of then because it's like the rest of my family's there, you
Yeah.
know. But I could tell that they like couldn't quite put the finger on it sometimes. That was, or like some guy who I hadn't seen him forever. I forget. Well, it happened a couple times. They came up to me and they were like, "What's up, Brandon?" Like they said my name, like kind of like it's like you just asked him what my name was when I walked in,
Yeah.
and then you walked up to me and said my name.
Yeah.
Like
I do that a lot. I did that a lot
yeah,
yesterday.
but see, like you got to be on. Like I have like a genius level like social IQ.
No, you don't.
No, I don't at all. But I like to pretend like I do.
I like how you looked at me for confirmation, and I was
Yeah,
just
I
like,
know
I'm
it
not
was a
going to
good
give
idea.
you that confirmation.
Because I know that, like, I can tell from from the instant if somebody knows my name by the way they say it like that, you know. But if
Hey,
I'm
Brandon.
who are you? But like, if I'm on the other end of that, dude,
Yeah.
I'm like hyper analyzing the way I'm gonna say their name so that they don't realize that I just learned it.
Mm.
By hyper, I'm gonna take about 4 or 5 seconds to be like, okay, this tone of voice, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not crazy to do, is it?
No.
No, that's normal behavior. I think
I
so.
also, I mean, I feel like I talked about this before, but like, I don't necessarily care if people know I forgot who they are.
Yeah, we just
So
talked about that.
I'll just straight up tell someone I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
I'm just like, hey, I'm sorry. What's your name again? Like,
I'll do that if I'm forced in the corner, but
yeah,
you know.
I don't necessarily care that much. Yeah, my sister's aunts look very much alike, so I did ask my other sister. I was like, hey, which one is which again?
one-
Because
yeah.
I was like, I know their names. I just
Nothing wrong with that.
I don't know which one is what. I literally can't tell the difference. They're
That's
not
perfectly
twins.
Normal.
They just look exactly alike.
I remember I met one of my biological aunts,
Yeah.
like from that side of my family when I was like 4.
Yeah.
They just happened to be in the area, like they were somewhere near Orlando, and like me and my mom and dad were at Disney. I was like 4.
Oh, word.
And I met her or whatever. And then when I met her again, like when I was like 18, when I met that whole side of my biological family, it was just funny. It was just like, because people were like, "You remember meeting her?" And I was like,
No.
"No." Like I was 4, dude. Like, and it was kind of one of those things where like I have a distant memory of meeting them because
Yeah.
somebody described to me many times the situation of it happening,
Mm-hmm.
and I can kind of remember like I can always remember the surroundings of
Mhm.
memories, like am I inside or outside? What kind of foliage is there? You know, like, but I can never remember like, oh, this is the person and reason. I'm
That
meeting them.
was that is probably a fake memory you have then.
That's what I think it is. I
Because
think I have a lot
this
of
is a real
those.
thing. This is a real thing.
Yeah.
If you have a memory from your childhood, but you can't actually remember it,
Right.
but people have told you the story of it over and over again throughout your life, you're not remembering the memory. You're
Right.
remembering the story of the memory.
And then it's just like reading a book where you
Yeah.
create the image in your head, like a
Mhm.
movie after you see something on
Yeah.
paper, you know?
Because
I
it's
think
like
a lot of my memories are
yeah.
that, dude.
like when I was 1 year old, a mirror fell on my head, and I have a scar on the back of my head because of it.
Oh.
Do you remember that? You know the
I
scar.
remember you having a scar, but I didn't remember that being the
Yeah,
reason.
so a mirror fell on my head when I was a kid,
Dang.
and that story has been told to me so many times that I feel like I remember it,
Right.
but I don't. That's a fake memory. There's
yeah,
no
you were,
way
you
I
were an
remember.
actual baby.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way I remember being 1 year old and a mirror falling on my head.
No.
But it's like it feels like I do remember it, but I just know that's a fake memory. It's like there's no way I remember that.
Dude, have you know those people who like they have like, you know, like Sheldon Cooper level type memories where they can tell you like what day of the week something was.
Who's
they
Sheldon Cooper? Does he play basketball or something?
That does sound like a basketball. No, he was the tall nerdy guy on they're all nerdy, but the tall guy on Big Bang Theory.
Oh, like Sheldon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that his last name? Cooper? The character's name?
I know Sheldon.
Sheldon.
Okay.
But that was like his thing. You can ask him like, hey, what day was it on like, March 3rd, 1988? And he could be like, it was a Wednesday. He could do that kind of thing.
Really?
Right. And there are people in real life that can actually do
Yeah,
that too.
yeah. I watched like a documentary about that. A guy would be like, "Hey, what was the score
Yeah.
at halftime of like the '96 Super Bowl?" And he'd be like, "Oh, the score was this," and they'll check it, and it was right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a whole documentary about that. Would be a crazy, like that's a superpower.
Yeah. Like if
You cannot convince me that is a superpower that people just don't want to say is a superpower.
That's a real superpower.
That is
Because
if you have a photographic memory and you can remember everything about your life, that's just I mean, it's like it's a great value superpower, but that's a superpower.
It's a
you know,
great value, yeah.
it's not like it's not like you can fly or change.
Right,
but it's like I'm not saying like you're Superman. You might be Robin. You know.
You're like
But that is a superpower.
You're like a really smart, deformed Robin.
You're a sidekick. All right, but
you're
that's
a psychic sidekick.
You're a sidekick,
yeah, dude.
Because you can remember. You would be the perfect sidekick too, because the main superhero wouldn't have to remember a thing. They'll just ask you what happened, and you would just recite it.
It's like Batman split into two personalities. Like he's super strong and then like super smart, and you just got like this guy. He's got all the information about all the enemies in his head, and then there's just like Jack, like martial artist on the other side. That's what.
Dude, I don't want to get into this, but like,
get into it. Maybe.
I have to.
Yeah.
I don't think that's being smart.
What, being Batman?
No, like remembering things.
No, you just got lucky and have a superpower.
Like that's not being. If you remember something, that's not you being smart. That's just you remembering something.
There
Did
is
you know?
because
does,
there are
does
people,
that make sense?
No, that makes 100% sense because I knew a lot of people in high school and in college that were very good at getting all A's.
Yeah.
Because they were just really good at memorizing things, but they were very stupid in real life. They had no practical knowledge of their practical application of their knowledge.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's a person who's like really good at like learning a system and memorizing things, but is dumb.
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing. It's like, dude, just because you can do. All right, well, okay, how about this? Here's the kicker. So the dates thing, you're not smart. You just have a superpower for memory. But what about the calculator people? You know who I'm talking about? Like
Calculator people.
You don't know about the calculator people?
Where they live in the sewers?
Yeah, dude, they live with all the other rats in the
Where
sewers, dude.
Where they live?
It does sound like a subhuman group when I say it that way.
Oh, the calculator people. Yeah, I met them in my backyard last.
They're the people who okay, so
they keep on fucking going through my trash as fucking calculators.
If a memory people
those calcs.
those calcs, dude, the memes and the calcs, dude, the memory people are jealous of calculator people because they know that they can't do that. Like, okay, look, saying a date. Okay, first of all, if I ever went to one of those, like live performances where you can ask them what happened on a day and they can tell you, they can tell you like news articles and stuff. I would just be like, I'd be like, on the 9th week of your 13th year, how many times did you masturbate? I would just find a time from like age 13 to 15 and be like, they're on a stage in front of like 1,200 people. I'm like, you have to answer. I paid for a ticket.
I paid for a ticket.
That's what I would do, bro. No, but like they get jealous.
Exactly how many times did you walk in to your parents fucking? Please describe it vividly for the crowd.
The first week you discovered masturbation. How many times did you execute it?
Oh my god.
No, but the calculator people are crazy because they can do like legitimately complicated arithmetic in their head. You can ask them like, some people can do only up to certain numbers, but some people can do like 4 or 5 digit numbers, multiply, divide, add, subtract any other 4 or 5 digit number, and they know it instantly. Like they have like that's where I do think that like our brains are computers.
That's also a superpower.
Yeah, but that's a better superpower because like
I don't think so.
You can use that in real life.
No way, because if you have memory, then you can just like a week of your life, just like sit down on a computer in front of a calculator and type in every single equation in the world, and then from that point on, you just have it memorized.
Right.
Right.
Would it be funny if a memory person tried to sneak into a calculator person convention or something? And they like they just been spending like ungodly amount of hours memorizing like different things, And then finally, one person asks them like something they don't know, and they get outed. You're like, you're not
Yeah.
a calculator person.
They missed like one digit.
Yeah.
Forgot to
But-
calculate that one.
But some of those people that has to be a superpower too, because there are people that I need to look at this more, because there's really something crazy about it that even as like somebody who's not a neuroscientist, I got to figure out,
Mm-hmm.
because some of those people can do like square roots of like odd numbers that don't have square root. Like people can do square roots of 4 or 5 digit numbers, and they can go to like the 6th or 7th decimal.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. That is by definition a superpower, right? Like
Yeah.
we gotta. What do we do with those people? Like how do
We just let them live.
like? Does
I
the
don't know.
government take them and do
No.
something with them and like put
I
'em
don't
in a
think our
lab?
government has recognized superpowers yet. Like I have a superpower.
What is your superpower?
I don't think I can make things happen, but I think I can feel things that are about to happen.
And then make sure they do.
No. They just like happen. I haven't been able to control them yet.
You have like intuition on like a higher.
Yeah.
level.
So
Yeah.
like the other day,
I see that.
I was like driving around. We were going to dinner. We went to Mellow Mushroom. Shout out to the mush. And on the way there, I had a weird sensation, like a sense that I was going to get pulled over. And I was like, well, why do I have this weird feeling that I'm going to get pulled over?
Right.
And then later that night, I got pulled over from a cop. And it was because, I mean, it wasn't like I was speeding or anything like that.
But I mean, that's pretty easy. You're not white, so that probably helped a lot.
Yeah.
I'm just
I
kidding.
mean, not really. But
All right, whatever. I'm sorry.
anyway, so I got pulled over. And like I was like, when it was happening, I wasn't even worried about it. I was just like, oh, I knew this was gonna happen, you know.
Like you
and
had
then
a
that
confident
one
feeling,
time,
and then it happened.
and then that one time we were in Washington, and we saw that car crash. I felt that was gonna happen, bro. I know this is no one believes me, but we were driving through the mountains.
Nobody believes you on that.
Nobody believes me.
Because right after it happened, you literally said out loud, you were like, "I knew that was gonna happen," and we were like, or you said something like that.
I did know it was gonna happen.
I don't know how you said it exactly, but it was something to that extent.
I think I
and
just
me and
said I
Sharon
had
were
a
like-
feeling. I was like, I had a feeling that was gonna happen.
Which is a very casual way of saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. If you would have been like, guys, like, I actually knew that was gonna, I would have been like, oh, okay, maybe.
No, so this is what happened. We were driving to the mountains to camp in Washington State.
Mm-hmm.
I was staring off to the mountains and I was watching the mountain range. And literally in my head, I imagined like a car crash. And then within 3 minutes, the car crash happened. What was it? Like a Ford, like,
Yeah, it was like a Ford F-150 or
yeah,
F-250,
Ford
like
F-150
the older
literally like
Ford.
rolled in front of us.
Yeah, they
like
passed-
multiple times. Yeah.
Yeah,
And all I can think in my head was like, damn, like I just thought of the car crash.
yeah.
So like, I don't know if I'm making things happen or if things are just coming to me. Am I psychic?
Partially. Here's my theory behind
Yeah,
that.
what's up?
Is that people that have psychic characteristics, what they have is they have a connection to their unconscious that is way deeper than the average person's connection to their unconscious. So what I mean by that is like our unconscious is processing information that we don't even realize it's processing.
Yeah.
Mostly because it's trying to protect us, right?
Okay.
Like our unconscious, and that's I'll get into a different theory later. But okay, so here's how I imagine your body is able to actually make that intuition.
Yeah.
And that is because we were the front of like a 4 or 5 car line.
Okay.
And what happened is that the truck was at the end of the line and they were getting hasty, or they were getting like, antsy or whatever, and they wanted to pass everybody. But it's night, mountain road, 2-lane road. And what I think was happening is that I think your brain was processing the information of like their engine revving and slowing down and revving and slowing down, like, which is indicative of a person who's in a rush, wants to get around, and it also could tell that there were 2 or 3 cars in the way. So I think what happened is that like your brain was able to pick up on like, okay, the last car in this line is going to pass everybody. And we're on all these winding roads. That's not going to go well. Like, and then that's exactly what happened. Like, usually you would be a car coming the opposite direction, but what happened is that like the third or the second or third car in the line, I can't remember if it was one. No, we were
The
same-
details don't matter.
Okay, the
but
details don't matter. Yeah,
I got
but
you.
But one of the cars in the line going the same direction turned left, and
Yeah.
then that car, as they were passing, hit them.
Yeah.
So what I think happened is that your brain was able to take all that info and put it together and like realize that something like that was about to happen,
Mhm.
and then just needed to manifest, and it did.
Yeah.
And so I think every time you feel like that, there's probably all this information you're getting that you don't even realize you're processing.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Maybe. Well,
Yeah, true.
what I think is I think
But that is a superpower, also.
that time all happens at once, right?
Yeah.
I think that we experience time on a timeline.
Right.
There's a start and an end. But I think the bigger way that we don't realize that time happens is that it's happening straight, and everything that happened and that will happen
From some perspective,
is
already-
happening.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think some people can connect to the happening and they just like catch a vibe.
I'm gonna vibe.
They just like catch a
Yeah,
vibe.
dude, yeah.
You know, bruh?
They just catch it. And they're
So
like,
I was just out there in the mountains. I was just catching
catching
vibes. And I was like, oh shit,
Yeah, I like your
I'm feeling
explanation
vibe,
better,
bro.
dude. I like-
That's a
dude,
very like stupid way of explaining it.
No, that's
But
a
like
better
I
way.
think like it's not like metaverse type thing or multiverse type thing, but it's like I think it's like
It's a vibe type thing, dog.
I think it's a vibe. Or well, it's like I was trying to say like maybe like the guy felt antsy and like he was giving off a vibe and I caught that antsy vibe. And I
Bro.
was like, but that doesn't necessarily mean because someone's giving off an antsy vibe doesn't mean it actually is going to
What
happen.
if you just have a vibe antenna in your body somewhere, and
It's
you
just
can,
zzz.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you can catch all sorts of types of vibes. Like you can feel
Yeah.
negatives and positive.
Well, when I got pulled
That
over
seems
from
likely.
that cop and I knew I was going to get pulled over that day, I was driving a rental car.
Yep.
And the reason why I got pulled over is because my back lights weren't on.
Mm.
But I didn't know my back lights weren't on because it looked like the front lights were on.
Right.
But the front lights were on were like the daylights. Or,
Yeah.
you know, like some cars have like lights that are on pretty much all the time.
Yeah, they're
Whatever
just
they-
like dimmer lights in the daytime
Yeah.
or whatever.
But the actual lights, like my headlights, technically weren't on, but it looked like they were on because it was illuminating the road. But I thought I had the thing set on auto, which means it just.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
wasn't even messing with the light thing at all. I just turned on the car, started driving. So yeah, when he pulled me, I mean, I didn't get a ticket or anything. I just told him I was like, "Hey, this is a rental car. I just got it today. I thought it was on auto. I'm so sorry." And he just like gave me a warning or whatever. So everything you just said, like maybe my brain just processes things fast.
Yeah.
And maybe like when I turned on the car, like I just like my brain already knew that like the lights weren't on because like it saw that it was off,
Yes.
but I didn't see it was off.
My theory's getting validated.
So maybe.
Yeah.
But also there could just be a vibe that I caught. I like the vibe idea.
Yeah,
I like,
it sounds way less nerdy and dumb.
I'm a vibe catcher.
Yeah, you're a vibe catcher.
Yeah.
Oh, vibe catcher.
Caught a vibe.
Civ Dreamweaver.
Maybe
It's a
I'm just here
vibe.
for the ride.
For the wreck. More like, dude, the fucking wreck. I
Yeah,
like
dude.
the vibe. I think that.
Do you have any superpowers? Wait, you like the what?
No, I like the idea of it being a vibe catcher.
Yeah.
I think it's more likely that like God put like a vibe antenna in you than it is like your like, you know, subconscious brain power. That sounds.
It
kind
could
of
be
complicated.
subconscious brain power.
That
'cause
could be the antenna, right?
Yeah, I do really. I have a high IQ. I forgot what it is.
I could see you having a high IQ.
Yeah,
can't
I remember. I
it
don't know
is.
what my IQ is because I don't necessarily care about it too much. But one time when I was in the 7th grade, we took an IQ test,
Oh, yeah.
and
It's
my
funny, dude.
my IQ score was higher than my teacher's. And I remember like my entire class made fun of her about it. And she was like trying to explain to us how like
All these tests aren't actually valid, students.
she was trying to explain to us how like IQ doesn't necessarily mean that like you're smart. It just means you're able to process things like the way.
Why is it called intelligence quotient then?
Yeah,
dude. Yeah,
it's called IQ.
It's called vibe quotient, baby.
Well, the way they explained it to me was actually like it doesn't like because this is my whole thing about knowing things doesn't mean you're smart. And I think this is true. Like I don't if you can just memorize things, it doesn't mean you're smart.
No.
That's not what being smart is. It's not knowing things. I feel like what's being smart and the way that I was explained on how the IQ test works, it's not because if the IQ test was a test on how much you know, then it would be a normal ass test, and it would
Right.
have a shit ton of questions on it.
Yeah.
It'd be like an SAT, right?
Exactly.
The IQ test isn't asking you any academic type questions.
It's pattern recognition
Yeah.
for IQ tests.
So they were telling us about the left side of our brain, the right side of our brain, how they work together, whether you're left side dominant, right side dominant. We were having a whole lesson on this, and then they're explaining how the IQ test, it's about patterns, how fast you're able to see the patterns, identify things. And apparently I'm really good at I do have
identifying patterns.
I do have a really good IQ. I don't think I'm like genius level. I think it was like,
it's tough to get there. It's like,
isn't it like 145?
something like over 145, 150, something like that.
It wasn't that high.
I think in the 140, 145 range. It's like,
I think I was like maybe 127 or 130 something.
Are you familiar with like the standard deviations, like
Mhm.
the graphics of them in
Yeah.
IQ? So I think what it is that like once you get above like 145, it's only 0 point something percent of the population.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's same on the other end too. It's like if you're below a certain, then it's only like a very small portion of the population.
But the average is like 90 something, right?
I mean it changes, but it's like 100.
Yeah.
It's like 100 give or take a point depending
Yeah.
on like where it is.
I think I remember being in the 120s or low 130s, but I think it was like, for some reason the number 127 is coming to my head, but I have no idea of proving.
That sounds about right.
I have
I remember
I have no way of proving that. So
my friend Trace took an IQ
just gonna run with
test,
it.
and like that's a good IQ though.
I'm gonna keep it 127.
is the way to go. Last time I've always wondered like how legitimate are, because there's tons of different types of IQ tests.
Yeah.
And I've always felt like, for some reason, as if you don't pay for one, it's not like legit. That's the dumbest reason ever. That
Not
is
legit.
like that confirms me non-genius.
Yeah.
But like it kind of does make sense because you're like, well, I don't know, man. Like I googled, I took an IQ test like 2 years ago or something like that, and it was at like 2 a.m. and I was like half crossfaded. And I just started like going online, and
So
I
I
was
like you do so how you do everything else in your life. though.
like anytime I get like curious about like deep things like that, it's just like, all right, let's wait till the middle of the
All
night
right.
after some drinking.
I have to be at least 3 drinks in and half a blunt in, and
Dude,
then I
yeah.
can start this
And then I
this
can look
5-page
inward.
essay that determines whether I'm graduating this year.
Facts, dude.
But before that, I'm not even touching my book bag.
I'm not even doing it. And it's like, oh my god, I got a 91 on this. That's crazy. How the hell did I do that? I don't even remember the intro paragraph.
So you were
I took
crossfaded
I
and you took
the
an IQ test.
and it was like, I got like a 123, and I just thought in my head, I just was like, add 10 points because I was late at night, crossfaded.
I'm drunk.
Add 10, like as if that's not
I
like
wonder
a lot
if
of numbers.
I wonder if that I wonder if that would actually change your IQ,
Like for the better or the worse.
like being crossfaded.
Oh, for sure, dude. Your ability
I
to
don't think
recognize
so.
patterns. Well, if you haven't, the reason is like the reason I said all that is because I did you're supposed to take an IQ test when you're normal. Like when it's, you know.
All right, well I'll take
between,
my IQ
like,
test
yeah.
again in like 10 years.
No, like sometime between the hours of like 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. and like
Okay.
sometime in some range in the blood alcohol level of like 0 to 0. It's like that's when you're supposed to take an IQ test.
You know, after 0 grams of weed.
Yeah, like everything should be 0. It should be like 12 a day, like except for that, so noon. So the
So
clock,
no Adderall either.
no, that was way before those days. And this is just like boom. It was like 12 o'clock in the middle of the day, midday. You take your IQ test, no substances, no Advil, no nothing, and then you find your results. Because if not, you're gonna be taking a test that late, and then which is okay. Anything over 120 is good.
Mm-hmm.
There's something wrong with me when I go 123. I'm like legit like come on, dude.
I mean, at least it's not 100, bro.
Dude, I saw this thing online, dude. Somebody took an IQ test, and I don't know where else. It was either a meme or a Reddit thing or something. Well, but I'm still gonna try to convince you I'm not a Redditor, dude. I don't be on Reddit.
You be on Reddit,
Dude,
bro.
no, here's what I be on.
You be
I be
on.
on Twitter accounts that are dedicated to screenshotting Reddit threads and posting them, and then everybody.
That's the
makes
same
them-
shit.
I guess it's halfway
That's the same
same
shit. That's
But
like
I am okay. I'll be on that then. But I was on Twitter and saw this lady. I guess I don't know if it was a woman or not, but the way it was written, it sounded like a woman.
yeah.
So, but it was like I just took an IQ test and now I'm depressed. It was like, and the description of it was something like I have a really good job, like I have a very balanced life. Other people consider me intelligent, and I consider myself intelligent. And I went and I took, I forget which one it was, but it was something like there's like an Amsterdam test or something, or like it's some country in Europe, but it's like considered like one of the highest rated tests.
Really?
That's the one I took. Everything was in.
Was it free?
Yeah.
Dude, we should take this.
Yeah.
On the pod.
Also, you know what the problem was me taking that is
What?
that it wasn't in English.
What?
Like half of the instructions were like in Dutch or something like that. But here's the thing, none of them are like math. You know, it's all pattern recognition, so it's like you kind of really don't know what it needs to say. It's just like guess the next one in the picture type of thing. It'll just show you like 3 or 4 things and it'll say guess the next. But
Yeah.
all like the whole website was not in English, and so
Yeah.
I think that was a couple points right there. Like you know what I'm saying? But this lady,
25 points.
Yeah, this lady took an IQ test, bro, and she got. Or whoever it was she got 83 on her IQ test, and at the end of her post, she was like, "I'm suicidal now," and I'm like, "Or I can't." We have to bleep that out. I think I don't think you're allowed to say that. My bad. On YouTube. I don't know, or not. But like, she was not happy with herself after the results,
Really?
and I would just, dude, if I look. Here's one thing. First of all, if I ever took a real IQ test, like a real one, they have to pay like $10 for because that makes it real, and I got an 83. I would just never tell anybody. I would just rip up the paper, and then I would just tell this story about like taking it at 2 a.m. and it being 123, and I would just stick with that number for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what's the point of like?
Yeah. I don't know. Also, who really cares about IQ tests? Like, was that ever like a number people cared? Like, was like right now, like, you know, SAT, ACT.
The military really cares about
Really?
it. Yeah, they won't hire certain people. Like, if you don't have an IQ above 85, you can't get into the military. So that lady can't join
That's
the
low.
military, dude.
I thought the
pretty
average is
low.
100.
It is.
They don't even want you to be a average.
Well, no, the thing is that like they're pretty much saying that if you have below an 85 IQ, that there is no job in the military that they trust you to be competent at. And think about the kind of jobs that they have in the military.
You can't even be like a janitor.
No.
Oh my god.
Or like a dishwasher, dude. You might put like a
That's
like if you have
crazy.
a below 85 IQ and you're a dishwasher, you might put a chemical in something that fucks everything up, dude. Like you might put in like some bleach or some shit and something
Oh
that.
my gosh.
Well, the thing is it's
Dude,
hard
we're
to
definitely
qualify.
doing IQ tests on this channel.
Yeah, we're doing an IQ
We're
test.
doing
Well,
IQ
I'll do it live.
No,
Dude,
we're
like,
going to.
I did some research. I was looking up like types of IQ questions, and
Yeah.
it turns out that they so it's some of the that gets harder as they go on,
Mhm.
and it was timed. You have to do it within a certain time frame. So I was like flying through the beginning questions, and like the last 5 questions, I had about 3 minutes left, which is plenty of time for all the other 5. But dude, I was using. I mean, there was questions I was spending 45, 60 seconds on because the patterns were so detailed. They were 4x4 boxes, like Rubik's cubes. So
Mhm.
it was 16 squares, and they had multiple different colors, and they were all arranged differently. And it was like they show you 4 of them, and then out of the 4 they showed you, they gave you 8 selections and said choose the logically next selection. So you have to. So you're analyzing 12 different 16 by. You're analyzing 12 different ones that are all 4x4 squares. And when I looked up, I typed in like, you know, like 3x3, 4x4 boxes IQ test or whatever. And they said that they'll actually give you multiple right answers. It's just that some are harder to spot. Some patterns are harder to spot than others. So there's like, if you choose the ones that are harder to spot, you get a higher score.
Mhm.
So they're like, dude, they're going in on these tests. They're not playing around. They're made
Interesting.
like they're made to really, you know, guess your intelligence, I guess, dude. I don't know.
My question about that though.
It shouldn't. I don't think IQ.
My
should-
question about like the whole thing about giving someone a higher score for choosing a harder to find pattern
Right.
is what if they identify all 3 right answers and they're like, well, any 3 of those can work, and then they just so happen to choose They're just like, I'm just going to pick one at random because any 3 of these can work. I'm just going to choose the first one I click on, and that just so happens to be the easiest one to find. There's
Yeah,
no
that would be a
way.
problem.
There's no way of the test, I guess, maker to know that person did successfully identify the hardest one, but they selected the easiest one. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like,
So like, I don't know if I like that. I don't know. I wouldn't want to take a test that did that.
That's probably what happened to me.
Because
dude.
like I probably
I probably was like,
because I probably would identify all 3. I'm a genius.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be like, hey,
that's what happened to me.
I'd be like, the elephant, the cow, and the chicken all work. I mean, like,
I was like, why would the lizard go with this?
yeah,
You
the
know?
lizard don't make no sense. These are all mammals.
It turns out it was all about how many legs they had, and like the lizard had 3 legs, and all the
Yeah.
other animals had 4, or all the other animals had 3, but the lizard.
These
had 4
3
legs.
animals fuck with their. These 3 animals do anal. Those don't.
Yeah.
Any dumbass knows that.
It's like we all know dolphins have sex for pleasure. Dolphins go in this group. Monkeys don't. Monkeys go in this group.
Anyway. We all know these animals. No, I'm kidding. I was going to say a word that I'm
These
not allowed to
animals-
say.
Yeah, you're almost allowed to say it. No. Oh wait, dude. There was a. Speaking of animals and sex, like there was a experiment that was done, and you know how there's like an old saying or whatever that says like, oh, like the oldest job in the world is prostitution. I forget how people say it, but you know people quote that shit.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. But they did this experiment where like they put like a bunch of chimpanzees in a room, and what they would do is like they basically made a currency for them. It was like peanuts or like jawbreakers or something. I forget what it was, but a small little piece of food to eat, right? And what you had to do is you had to like solve these little puzzles, or you had to do things to get the food, right? And then the first thing that happened because it was males and females mixed together, and the first thing that happened is like all the like not the first thing that happened, but pretty much the first thing that happened was once the monkeys figured out that the little thing they got was money. Like they were using these things that they got. Oh, it wasn't food. Sorry, they were using the things they had to get food. So they would like solve these puzzles, and they would get these little like poker chip type things that it could have just been poker chips they bought from Walmart. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then they would collect these chips, and then they could buy like either a banana for this many, or they could buy like a grape for this many. You know, the second that they figured out what money was, the first thing that all the male chimps did was just start playing the shit out of all these games, and then collecting all their money, and then like. They filmed all this too, and then they would just go give all the money to the female chimpanzees and have sex with them.
Oh my god!
That's the first thing that the monkeys did when they figured out what money was, dude.
So yeah, prostitution.
It's got to be the oldest job.
Is the
ever.
oldest job.
And that's like scientifically proven
The
because,
because those chimps.
like Jane Goodall forced a bunch of monkeys to rape each other, and then like. I hate that bitch, dude. I hate Jane Goodall, dude. She makes me so mad. Ever since I've seen that video of her coming out saying that she thinks that there should only be 500 million people on Earth and that everybody else should die, like ever since then, I was like,
why
that's
did she
you
come out
don't-
with that number? You know how?
Well, I think that if you're a white woman and you spend 30 years in the forests of Africa, like
Yeah.
watching wildlife, then I think that you start to hate people. I think that's what happens, dude.
Fair enough.
I
Fair
think
enough.
that's what. But I think that she came up with that number because she's just like paid by the globalists and like paid by the World Economic Forum, and
No
that's-
study went into that number at all.
Yeah. Well, actually, it was like the interview of her was like in front of a like you know some type of like big screen they use for
Yeah.
interviews, and it just had like World Economic Forum all over the place. It was like an obvious like globalist get together party, and I was like, oh, so they paid her like $78,000 just to say some crazy shit on TV, just because she's like a person that has trust, you know, she's like an old sweet kind of lady. And then you start to think about a lady like Jane Goodall, and like something's got to be wrong with you if you just want to go. All right, I'm sorry I had to rant about this, dude,
No,
because
you're good,
this is what
rant.
happens. Like, but Jane, I think about this. There's so many different tribes of chimpanzees in Africa.
Okay.
Like the highest number you can get, I think it's about 100 something.
Okay.
After that number, they start to break off into different groups. It's about how many they can handle being in at one time. It could be even less than that. Like, I could be wrong, but anyway, the amount for humans is about 4 or 5 times more than chimpanzees, which
Yeah.
is a theory about like how we were able to start societies, because we had more people that could get along without killing each other and then breaking off, you know. But there's just hundreds of groups of different types of monkeys in the world, but specifically chimpanzees that she studied what if she just like, and she would talk about like how they would just like kill each other over like the smallest things, and
Yeah,
all this other stuff. What if she just chose like the worst group of chimps
that's true.
to study?
Yeah,
Like, there's a very real case that like she hates the human race now and wants us to die, and she loves chimpanzees and wants them to rule. Like, she is trying to bring about Planet of the Apes, all because she chose like the worst possible. It's like if you're an alien, you're coming to do a study on human beings, and you just chose to like go to Portland and get a bunch of like homeless skateboarders, and you were like, this is the sample of human beings I'm going to study, and then like report back to
yeah,
my friends on Xenoop or whatever.
yeah.
That'd be a pretty terrible thing to do. You
Yeah,
know?
no,
Like,
I mean we've talked about that on the pod before. Yeah,
oh, I
There's-
didn't realize it got into that much
yeah.
of it, but okay.
No, not
Yeah.
that specifically. We've talked
Oh,
about
yeah.
we've talked about like humans studying animals and
Yes.
how like what if they're choosing like the dumb ones.
Oh, we did choose that already? Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I bring that up
Freak.
every other week or so. You know,
That is something that we should be thinking about then.
yeah. I mean, I think there has to be some dumb animals out there, some smart ones. There's dumb humans.
I feel bad. I can't believe we talked about that.
No,
That's
you're
literally been
good.
on my mind.
We didn't
for
talk
so much
about
time.
Jane Goodall though.
Oh, okay. Good.
We didn't
Yeah.
talk about her specifically.
Yeah.
Her specifically.
That's
but,
how she imagine it. I wonder if she does like she's like in the middle of a conversation with somebody and like doesn't understand English feel anymore because she's like used to watching like
Oh my
like
gosh.
like people like do monkey moves and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and she's used to that. That's dude. 30 years. I can't even comprehend it, dude. That's longer than I've been alive.
That's true.
That's just like you're just waking up every day, watching Chimp Empire on Netflix. You know, it's pretty sick. Actually, okay, it's kind of cool. Sorry,
Yeah.
Jane Goodall. The more I think about it, it's like it's pretty sweet career. Actually, you get to like just take notes on people doing their thing.
Dude, time is interesting.
What makes you
Because
think that? I like it.
I feel like I like it.
I like it. I
I
like
like
this
it.
concept of time.
I can't tell. Okay, so like time is moving, right? Whole timeline. I brought that up already.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Time is constantly moving. So, okay, time is an illusion,
Mhm.
right? Time isn't real. We're just experiencing life and we decided to equate numbers to that, right?
Yeah. We watch the sun and some stuff. And
Yeah.
then we made time.
So one, it's like, is time if time is an illusion, then like it moves faster for some people and slower for other people. Right?
I think that's yeah, that's true.
So I don't really like the whole like having a clock then because it doesn't make sense, right?
Right.
For example, in the morning when you're getting ready, time moves very, very fast.
Yes. It's like boom.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you get up and like before you even start getting ready, it's like you just spent 20 minutes like sitting down doing nothing. You
Right.
know, and you're like,
Yeah.
holy crap, now I have to get ready, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like I don't know, I feel like we should have a better method of dealing with that cuz it's like okay, like time moves faster in the morning, so let's give this person more time to get ready. Time moves slower at work.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives this person less time to work.
Yeah.
That sounds stupid to
no,
say,
I
but
see what you're saying.
like,
There's a
it's
lot
just
of
like-
implications for it.
like so if time is if everyone agrees that time is an illusion and that time is different for everybody, then why are we so bound
Buy it.
to having buy it, but by specifically having like a metric that we all have to obey by, obey.
Yeah, obey. Yeah, because
Yeah.
everyone like schedules things and makes time.
Yeah, it's just
I think
know.
that like maybe human beings like did realize that time was an illusion, and like the way that we're doing it now is just like our best attempt at dealing with that fact.
yeah.
Like it could be like we've tried all these other, like you look at ancient civilizations and who knows how long humans have been alive, possibly millions of years if all the carbon dating's wrong. Like maybe we had all these different iterations of how we kept track with and interacted with time. And then like all those kind of didn't work, and then whatever we have now just happens to be the one that we like feel like is working the best, even if there's a
That's
better way
true.
to do it. Like there could be a way better, because I think that if you the less time you spend with time, the faster it goes by. The
Mhm.
more time you spend with time, the slower it goes by. Being 7-year-olds have little to no concept of like the span of 10 years
Yeah.
because they haven't made it there yet. But like for a person who's in their 90s, you know, they can talk about something that happened 30, 40 years ago as if it was just happening yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, so like they have a completely different perception of time. That's why like little kids like can't stand to wait 5 minutes because it really doesn't feel like 5 minutes. Like, or that could just be psychological where like you imposing 5 minutes on them now feels like an arbitrary endless amount of time.
Yeah.
Could be that too. I don't know. But I think that this like part of the reason why time is
I don't think
100%
anyone
fake.
likes. I don't think anyone likes waiting 5 minutes for anything.
I hate it.
Exactly,
Dude. Yeah.
But I do understand the whole thing of like, you know, a 90-year-old talking about something that happened a decade ago as if it was yesterday. I do feel that because like I feel like I remember things that happened maybe 5 years ago, like in college, as if it was yesterday. But I wouldn't say I remember things that happened a decade ago as if it was yesterday. But I'm sure like the older I get, the more I'd be able to retain and feel, or the more I'm able to look back and feel like, oh, that was just yesterday.
Right.
But like 10 years ago, I was still in high school, you know? It's like I barely remember things that happened 10 years ago, but I feel like 10 years from today, I'll be able to be like, oh yeah, like 10 years ago, like Brandon and I were doing that podcast. It was great. Yeah, it was fun. It's like I don't remember.
We find it on YouTube and we're like, what is this?
Yeah, I don't remember anything I was doing 10 years ago. You know,
Dude.
I don't remember any hobbies I had. Any, you know, it's like I don't remember nothing.
I did a fun experiment with Chris the other day about time.
Really?
He was talking to me about something he was doing with his students at school, and it made me think about like time and like how we relate to it. And like he was telling me that he has like a very good memory, like
Really?
better than he thought. And I was like, let's do an experiment because I've been thinking about this for a while and I've never done it with somebody. We were trying to think of like how specific of things can we remember from our childhood, and like as you were saying, you know, a lot of the things that we have as children and memories are just like stories that have been explained to us by other people that were there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's true because, like, for example, I can go back to like the start of high school, and I could name you every teacher's name, not first name, but last name and subject they taught, and like what block I took it. Which is kind of a crazy memory to do, but like I can do that accurately from freshman to senior year of high school.
Mm-hmm.
But like I asked Chris, I was like, hey, can you explain like the discipline system they implemented on you in kindergarten? Like, can you remember like the colors, like if you had greens and all that? And he was like, yeah. And he like went through like 5 different colors.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, actually, it was these 4 or it was these 5. I'm like, it's harder than you thought, isn't it? And he was just like, yeah. But I was like, so you have the idea that they like had colors, but you don't remember what each color, what it you know, like what it went with punishment wise, you know?
Yeah.
And I was trying to convince him that like I was just trying to convince
He must
him
have
that,
not gotten in trouble a lot then.
That's what I was saying.
I remember the colors vividly.
That's probably what it is, dude.
It was green, yellow, and red.
You had 3?
It was
gave you
green.
no strikes,
It
bro.
was green, yellow, and red. Everyone started off each day on green. By math time, I was on yellow, and by lunchtime, I was on red.
Every day.
And if you have red, no recess. If you have yellow, 5 minutes off of
so
recess.
you didn't ever have recess?
I know, bro.
Damn,
no, bro.
Damn.
Not every day, but there would be multiple. Most days, I didn't sit. I would have to sit out of recess for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's the punishment for being on yellow. Red means no recess. And most days I was on yellow. Couple days I was on red. Occasionally I was on green.
I rode in the yellow a lot. I was a yellow boy.
Yellow boy.
Yeah, I liked it because we had like an elementary. We usually had it was different per teacher, but bad burp.
No,
but like
good.
typically it's like 4 colors at
Mhm.
my elementary school. It was like green, yellow, orange, red,
Okay.
and I think it was just, like yellow was like, yo, chill out, dog. Like if you don't
Yeah.
chill, we're about to do something. And that's usually when I was like, all right, teacher, I'll chill. Like, you know, like if you're just green every day, it's boring, dude. You can't just
you
be
can't
green.
live life on green.
Yo,
bro.
can you imagine meeting somebody and they're like, dude, every single day in kindergarten and in all of primary school, I was green.
I
I'd be
was
like-
green. I had a
I'm like,
reward
I
from my
fucking hate you,
principal.
dude. Like, yeah, like those people who were like, dude, I remember some kid got a certificate for never missing a day of class, and
Really?
it was some girl in like 5th grade, and I just remember thinking like, I hate that girl, not because like, not because she's like mean or weird or anything,
Yeah.
but just because like she like prided herself on like not missing school,
Oh
and
my
I just thought
gosh.
I just thought that was dumb.
That
I
is-
just thought it was like,
yeah.
I just was like, you got nothing else better to do ever than to like never miss school.
To never miss school.
You don't have like something going on with your family every now and then, dude. Like
Yeah.
you just living life, going to elementary school every day. I didn't like that, but yeah, I mean, I think you had to live in the yellow, man, yellow orange. If you weren't pushing the orange,
Yeah.
most days.
We also, at my elementary school, we had a student of the day every single day for each grade.
Oh my gosh.
And they announced it every single day.
Dude, that is so high stress right there, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
but one time, this was in New Jersey. One time there was like a wicked snowstorm, and I was forced to go to school because my mom's a school teacher. She wasn't teaching there, but I was forced to go to school because it was a snowstorm, but they didn't cancel school. But a lot of people weren't sending their kids to school even though school wasn't canceled. My mom's a teacher, so she had to go to work. So she dropped me off at school, and out of my class of maybe 20 kids, there was like 4 kids there. So 16 kids, their parents were like, you're not going to school today.
Yeah.
Like the snow is crazy. So they made my whole class student
of the day.
That was my only day ever being student of the day.
I can see
and
you being
all I had
like, yes, and then you also like, I gotta share it with these motherfuckers.
Yeah, I made it. Also,
Look,
my only honors class in high school was choir.
That's what I'm talking about, dude. Take pride in that.
I take pride in that. My only student of the day was the day where I only had 4 kids in my class, and the only honors class I took in high school was choir. Those are my 2. Yeah.
I had to like. Well, I
don't remember going back to what you said real fast. I don't remember any of my teachers. Any.
Yeah. See.
I can't name a single teacher from any grade.
But people overrate those kinds of memories.
Yeah.
They're not. Like, if you had some really good teachers or whatever, then it's like, okay, cool. Like, then you'll remember them. But if you didn't, then it's kind of like, well, what's the point of remembering this person in a place I didn't want to be at? Or whatever, you know? Yeah, that's what I think. Like, I didn't. I
remember things that happened in school, but I just don't remember teachers.
What? Oh, yeah. Dude, what's funny about that conversation me and Chris had is that we talked for like 20 minutes about it.
Yeah.
And we kept giving each other quizzes and like. Because I pretty much realized that under age 10, I really don't have a lot of specific memories. Like, what I mean by that is, like, where I can actually correlate it to something else that's in reality other than my memory.
Yeah.
You know? And before the age, like, I can tell you, like, if somebody were to ask me, like, hey, what meal did you have in this place? If it was, like, a really good meal and it was, like, an interesting place, I'll know exactly what I ate.
Yeah.
Then that within the last, 10 years or something, I can usually remember that kind of thing. But if somebody, anything like that, like anything like, hey, how many minutes was your recess allotted in the 3rd grade? Well, I don't know. It could be 10 or 12 or 15. I don't know. But I don't know. We talked about this for so long, and then at the end, we had no conclusion to our conversation. We just were like,
yeah, memory's crazy, huh?
Yeah, that was what it was, dude. I'm trying to think of a good wrap up for that.
Yeah, we're definitely high, weren't you?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. The only thing that I have a really good memory about is I remember where I got every single piece of article of clothing that I own. I remember exactly where I got everything. Like, if you were to open my closet and just pick something out and be like, where did you get this from?
That's a superpower.
I'd be able to be like, yeah, I got that from that store.
Yeah. Stitch Fix, Goodwill, Costco.
Yeah.
That's
I'd be able,
dude.
I don't know if, like, that's a common thing, though. I don't know if people, like, actually remember where they got their clothes, or maybe I'm just hyping up something that everyone does.
Maybe you just like the types of clothes you wear. And
I like clothes,
yeah,
so like it does. I feel like it makes sense.
I like clothes, and they
like, for example, this hat was.
You get that from New York?
No,
just kidding.
This hat, when I was a custodian at CIU, or
that's where you got it
at a college. When I was a custodian at a college, I was cleaning.
At some college.
I was cleaning a theater room. And it was there, and I was like, this is a cool hat.
This is mine now.
And then I walked out wearing it.
See, that's totally acceptable for me.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with that. Dude, I saw a pair of prescription glasses today next to the chest fly machine in the gym. And I waited about, 30 minutes. No one came and got them. And I looked at them, and they were like Warby Parkers, dude. And I was like, can these be mine now? Like, I did look through the lens. And
How much longer do I have to wait?
What I should have done is gone up to the people and gave it to them.
Yeah.
And just been like, hey, this is, and then I looked at the clock and was like, oh, I need to go take a shower and get to Joe's house. And I just left them on the floor. I didn't take them though. But here's the thing: if I
really wanted you to be like,
and here they are. Dude,
right
here's the thing, dude. If I had bad eyesight and I put them on and it fixed them, and if by the time I showered and left and they were still there, would have snapped them. Because see, it's like you give the universe enough shots to get them back, and then they don't get them back, and then you're like, yeah. I'm trying to say,
I like that perspective because, like, you don't think the universe is using you to give them back.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just like, no, the universe got to do this on its own.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't do it on its own,
dude.
it's like, what if the universe is using you?
You. I saw them and left them.
Exactly.
I put them up and put them back down where they were, dude. I had to look through the lens to see if they were like.
Did they fix your eyesight at all?
No, I mean whoever was wearing them have fucked up eyes because it just made everything blurry.
So you wouldn't, you shouldn't have taken them anyway.
But if they were Warby Parkers, like since they were, but if they were that and they weren't prescription, if they were just fake glasses, I would have definitely taken them because nobody who doesn't actually have bad eyesight should be paying that much money for that brand name. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'd be like, they don't deserve this, and I always.
And I do because I'm here.
Like, see, I tell you, I knew I was a high IQ because it's crazy. Like every time I want something, I'm able to come up with an amazing rationalization for how to get that thing. You know, isn't that crazy?
I was gonna say I know I have a high IQ because I'm really good at math, but I like your explanation better.
Yeah, I'm still using logic. I'm pretty good at the logic of it. You know.
Yeah.
I'll sometimes write it out, make sure it's sound, you know, still make sure it's following formal rules of Western traditional logic. You seen everybody
fuck that
get
Eastern
mad?
logic.
Yeah, for real, dude. You see all those? They did all these. You seen that video where it's like they're asking all these like college students in Africa about like math and stuff. I don't know. It was kind of racist. I don't really know what the point of the video was, but it just ended up being like a bunch of people yelling about like how that logic isn't real and they don't like it because they're not used to it. And it was just kind of like,
because they're not used to it.
They were just like, well, they were basically saying like, this is white people Western math, and this is like not what we do. And it was just kind of like, I'm like, dude, there are different things invented in the world all over the places, and then other people from everywhere adopt those methods. Like numbers, like white. You're telling white people that math is white. I'm like, yo, we stole this from India, dude. Like Indians created the numbers, bro.
Yeah.
They created the zeros and the ones, or it was either them or the Arabs. Same thing, but they did invent them. Like, dude, white people were using Roman numerals.
Yeah.
Like who uses those anymore? Not us. Not
That's
us on
true.
this podcast. But we don't use those.
We're probably not gonna anymore.
Not after this, dude.
Not anymore.
I'm like now having the self-realization of like we're doing like that was the old system, and then they like went and fought. Well, like Alexander the Great like goes and conquers India or something, and then they were like, oh yeah, there's something before one. It's like I don't think the Romans had something for zero, dude. I think they just had the next thing.
That's true. There's
I don't
nothing
know
for zero.
what zero is in Roman. It's just one. But they have 30.
What about negative numbers?
They weren't on that level yet.
They
They weren't even there, dude.
They were like,
they're busy
nothing
conquering
in
the
this
world.
world is zero or negative.
Yeah, if
There's
something
like,
was,
you see this table? That table can't be negative table, Brandon. We count here in Rome.
Like
okay.
At the height of the Roman Empire, it was like the smartest people being like, what is zero? What is zero? It's like, well, for something to be zero, we'd have to not have it. We have everything.
So it's nothing.
Nothing doesn't exist.
Yeah, how do you come up with zero? This is a real question.
Think about India, dude. 4,000 years ago, dude. Lots of dirt, lots of nothing, lots of monks. Maybe you got to find out something to do.
The first person to come up with zero spent all their money.
Yeah, dude.
They were an accountant, and they were like, okay, so I have this much, and how much did you spend, darling? And she that's the first person. It's like, wait, my bank account is negative. What? We don't even have a number for that yet. The bank had to create a new number for your spending spree, honey.
Yeah, dude. They had to create a new number. It's like some guy gets back to his village. He's got like 2 pigs on sticks that he killed for dinner. And they're like, bank's got a new number they invented because you're poor. And he's like, oh,
Bank's got
shit.
a new number you create.
Well, I'm imagining like there's like two Buddhist type monk guys we're just counting ants one day. You know, like there's one ant, there's two ants, and they had all these different ants, and they had numbers for them. And then like all the ants walked away, and they were like, "How many ants?" Because you think they had to argue about this for years because they walked away and be like, "Well, how many ants are there?" And then somebody had to be like, "That's an invalid question because there are no ants. You can't ask me a hypothetical question about how many ants are there when there's no ants." And the guy's like, "Well, this is the craziness of the conversation." And then they're like, "No, there's 0 ants." And he's like, "That doesn't make sense. You just use the word ants." And then you argue about that for like 4,000 years. And then you finally come up with a word. And you're like, zero. Like, there's none. That had to be like the revelatory like breaking point.
But how do you come up with the negative then?
Somebody kills the ants. somebody.
No, I think that negative comes from the bank account.
Not even the bank account.
The
dude.
bank
Like, it's like, yeah, man.
Banks created. I believe that banks created negative numbers, bro.
100%.
If it wasn't for banks, we wouldn't need negative numbers.
Yeah, dude. If it wasn't for banks and who owned them, we'd have no negative numbers, bro.
Yeah.
But I just imagine like you tell somebody you're like, hey, if you give me those 3 chickens, I'll give you a bag of rice in 2 weeks. And then like they gave you the 3 chickens and they come for the rice and you're like, I ain't got the rice. And they're like, well, what else do you have to, make up for it? And you're like, nothing. And you just are like sitting in some sand. And then they're like, all right, well, you have negative 3 chickens now. Like you owe me 3 chickens. And on top of that, for this problem,
no, that doesn't work, bro.
You're a bag of rice.
That doesn't
Yes,
work,
it does, dude.
That does not
That's
work.
how negative. That's banks. The same
Oh
thing.
my god.
It was
But it doesn't work
economy.
with chickens, bro.
No, but I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying that
No, I know.
the
I know you're
economy
agreeing
created
with me.
negative numbers.
I know that you're agreeing with me. I just, but you have negative 3 chickens now
You owe me 3 chickens
because it's 17:35 and we don't have money here.
Yeah, dude. It's like the whole bag of rice would have been fine. We came here to get it. There ain't no rice, so now you owe us the chickens and the rice later on. And then that's how they came up with
And
interest.
that's how they came up with interest.
Yeah. Now, compound interest is when that guy's dumb enough to keep giving him more chickens. And it's also kind of like, why the fuck is it legal for you to keep giving this man chickens when he's not going to give them back, And then you go to a loan office place and you're like, oh, that's why it's illegal. It makes a shit ton of money. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up.
Well, let's wrap it up, dude.
Alrighty, y'all.
Hey.
Thank y'all.
We're doing an outro, too.
Yeah, we are. This is it. Thank y'all for watching. If you like this video, feel free to leave a comment, like, subscribe, all those great things. Stay tuned. We have some funny, exciting, crazy, obscure, ridiculous things. Ridiculous things coming up soon. Real interesting things happening on the channel soon. I've been Joe.
And I've been Body.
And y'all have been watching. Thank y'all so much.
And I have negative 3 chickens. What's up?
Yes. See y'all next week.
JoBodie. It's another JoBodie. It's JoBodie. And another JoBodie. Another one. JoBodie. This is a new episode of JoBodie.
Oh shit, I wasn't even recording. Fuck.
I want JoBodie. I need JoBodie. As long as you got me, you don't need nobody.